In East Asian medicine, there's no separation between the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual person. There's actually no real language to separate them. You are a person. You are a single person. And as a single person, things that affect you emotionally are going to affect you physically and spiritually. I teach medical literacy and lifestyle competency. When we use these foundational skills, there are predictable outcomes, and they are this. Your immune systems are boosted. Your moods are more stable. You're either avoiding disease or having better outcomes of disease when a body, given the opportunity and with the ability to, will return to a state of balanced physiology or homeostasis, it will. And what East Asian medicine does through a very unique set of diagnostic skills is recognizes the imbalances, invites the body to join with it in the rebalancing, which is the easing or elimination of symptoms. Welcome back to Ovary-Acting, your ecosystem for all things women, where we take your health and wellness seriously, but ourselves not so much. I am here on what I'm going to call a little solo mission to explain to you what the Epic 8 is and why I created it. I am Dr. Jennifer Ashby, DAOM. I am an acupuncturist with a clinical doctorate in women's health and East Asian medicine. I have been in private practice 30 years and just closed it, and I have been at UCSF, Osher Center for Integrative Health, for 12 years now. And I'm coming on here to just kind of tell you why I created the Epic 8. So what I call the Epic 8 or the BOOM Epic 8, BOOM standing for your basic optimal outcome method, I created because patients were looking for guidance. They were looking for guidance that would help them through treatment of disease, getting pregnant, just lifestyle in general. And what I found was that I was recommending variations of the same recommendations over and over again for everyone who asked. And although I have compiled and organized and translated this information, I did not create it. This is all based on East Asian medicine theory and modern science. I am privileged to work at this Western medical institution, so I have all kinds of resources at my fingertips. I say that I practice integrative health because I'm able to include people's lab works, pharmaceuticals, procedures, surgeries, Western medical diagnoses, all into my treatment plan for them. And so people are always looking for lifestyle recommendations, and I created the BOOM Epic 8, which is, again, your basic optimal outcomes method. And the Epic 8 are this. They're not brain surgery. I mean, these are things that we do every day. My whole point is to just create something that is reproducible as a toolbox for you to rely on. None of this you haven't heard before. It's not brain surgery, but it's all based on East Asian medicine theory. And I'm going to take my glasses off so that you guys don't have to see the reflection of my living room lights. And by the way, Ovary-Acting takes place on my couch in my living room. And for shameless promotion, I'm going to move my mic out of the way of my fabulous book here. We'll have a little we'll have a little commercial break. Welcome to my book, The Energy Prescription, by me, Jennifer Ashby. It is ancient wisdom and modern science for thriving through menopause. It is the Epic 8, tuned to the menopause, perimenopausal experience, mixed with a little bit of feminist, like gusto and a little punch. And it is a book of empowerment and tools with which to help you through perimenopause and menopause. So basically, the Epic 8 being based on East Asian medicine theory, I just translated and reorganized it into a toolbox. So the Epic 8 are diet, hydration, sleep, breath work, constitutionally appropriate movement and exercise, your gut health and bowel movements. And to those 6 essentials, I add 2 practices. First is the practice of experiencing and finding joy and or awe every day. I say joy is an inside job and awe is an outside job. And then the 8th, which is probably, potentially The most difficult of them all is tools to not embody stress. Now, this is not a statement about not having stress. I'm not an idiot and I'm not mean. I know that this is the 21st century. We all have stress everywhere. Avoiding stress is not an option for many. But how we literally embody that stress has an effect on our health and wellness. And so it's developing tools to be able to differentiate the difference between a tiger chasing you or a saber-toothed tiger chasing you and an inconvenience, like an inconvenient email, your kid waking you up at night needing a ride home, a difficult person that you're working with at a job, and that we shouldn't be releasing the same, we should not have the same chronic release of stress hormones to deal with inconveniences that we would for saving our lives when the tiger is chasing us, and that the chronic release of these hormones is making us all sick. So again, the EPIC 8 are diet, hydration, sleep, breath work, constitutionally appropriate movement and exercise, gut health and bowel movements, which I tie into one, and then finding joy and awe daily, and tools to not embody stress. And so when we utilize these 8 basic lifestyle skills, I teach medical literacy and lifestyle competency. When we use these foundational skills, there are predictable outcomes, and they are this. Your immune systems are boosted. Your moods are more stable. You're either avoiding disease or having better outcomes of disease. And in my 30 years of clinical experience, it's actually the most you can do to avoid recurrence of illness when possible, which is not always true, but it's your best interaction with life to give yourself the best chances. And the other thing is that the EPIC 8 upregulate our good genes and downregulate our less than optimal genes. We cannot change our DNA, but lifestyle affects how they express, and the EPIC 8 contributes to that expression, that gene expression. So again, boosted immune system, stable moods, effects on disease development, treatment, and recurrence, and upregulation, downregulation of good and bad genes, and it stabilizes your energy levels. So I have very specific ways to do each of this. I also utilize something called prenatal and postnatal chi or energy that you will learn about. That is your gauge on the daily to whether you're doing things well or correctly, and as ways of preserving your vital essence so that you're not utilizing a battery that is slated to last you your whole life, that you're not using that battery up sooner. The EPIC 8 took me a long time to develop and organize. I really started putting it together for a patient that had something called polycystic kidney disease. She was doing everything right, and I was trying to put together a lifestyle plan to help her so that her kidneys did not continue to function decline. And I started realizing and learning, teaching myself about the mechanisms of something called polycystic kidney disease, that East Asian medicine actually had theories and ways of approaching each of the things that happen to the kidneys through this familial genetic disorder. And I started looking at all things in life that way. So instead of just treating, translating, and diagnosing patients based on what I learned, I started looking at mechanisms of disease from a Western medical perspective, and then translating them into how to treat them from Eastern medicine's perspective. And I've been able to do some really cool stuff with that. I've been published in Western peer-reviewed medical journals. I did a class for the Daily Alm on the lymphatic system, which actually, I think 19,000 people have taken that course already. It's called something like lymphatic system drainage rescue, science-based lymphatic drainage rescue. They named it. Anyway, so educating people is a huge passion of mine. And I have created this system now that has been turned into this book by Wiley. There will be a self-paced course coming out online soon. And I find that what happens for people when you tell them how to, not what exactly to eat for their disease or constitution, but how to approach eating, how to hydrate, how to sleep. People feel empowered, so they don't need me as much as a clinician. They know how to manage what they can. When things are beyond their control or management is when they contact their doctors, their clinicians, whatever healthcare provider they're working with. So the Epic 8 was the culmination of 30 years of experience put together to help patients be empowered to do what they can for themselves, regardless of what health condition or crisis they're facing in the time. And I've gotten so much positive feedback from people going, I know, I haven't drank enough. I know I need the minimum of this. But I teach them how to manage hydration so that it doesn't seem overwhelming, how to manage eating, how to cultivate joy and awe, tools to not embody stress. And again, it's to empower patients, empower people, which is really my goal. I am so dedicated to people learning how much control they do have of their own health and also, when to go to the doctor. I am not anti-Western medicine at all. So so the Epic 8, this is not biohacking. I'm also not pro-biohacking. What are we hacking? Our body's own innate wisdom? That just doesn't seem logical. I'm about learning how to read the signs that your body gives you. By the time we have disease, we have missed usually lots of other signs and symptoms. There are some sneaky stinkers out there, but I'm all about empowering you. And I'm all about doing it through multiple. I have a Substack at Jennifer Ashby. I'm on Instagram at Dr. Jen Ashby. We now have me here on Ovary-Acting, where I hope to interview. I have lots of amazing interviewees lined up. I hope it lasts for years with people that have wonderful things to offer all of you. I have this book coming out with Wiley Publishing. Pre-order if you want to do it locally. Pegasus Books Oakland. You can do it online. You can also do it through Amazon and Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. But it's out. It's starting. Anyway, that's it. The Epic 8, your toolbox to feel better, feel empowered, do what you can, take control of your life, your health. And one other thing I want to add is that in East Asian medicine, there's no separation between the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual person. There's actually no real language to separate them. You are a person. You are a single person. And as a single person, things that affect you emotionally are going to affect you physically and spiritually. Things that affect you physically over time will affect you emotionally and spiritually. Being in a spiritual crisis affects both your emotional and physical self. So I will always speak of and be treating verbally you as a whole entire person. One of the things that attracted me to East Asian medicine is that we are so much in control of our own health once we understand how, in terms of development of disease and our own self-care. And when you understand that, you can never not know it, right? The saying ignorance is bliss is real. Because once you know, when you're not doing for yourself what you know you should be doing, it almost feels like a self-betrayal. But I love the idea that in East Asian medicine, that when a body, given the opportunity and with the ability to, will return to a state of balanced physiology or homeostasis, it will. And what East Asian medicine does through a very unique set of diagnostic skills is recognizes the imbalances, invites the body to join with it in the rebalancing, which is the easing or elimination of symptoms. And when it can, it will. And I love the idea of people healing themselves and me just being a helpful catalyst in that process. So the female body is very unique, even in East Asian medicine. And I'm really excited to go on this journey with you. We will be exploring not just physical, emotional, and spiritual components, but environmental, pop culture, navigations, parenting. I mean, the list goes on and on. So welcome to Ovary-Acting. I'm really excited to be going on this journey with you. I appreciate you tuning in.